All right, guys, looking at the second day working with this quadratic formula. Hopefully you've done the first day and have a little bit of practice with solving equations using the quadratic formula. Today, we want to look at just more application of that, some story problems, I guess, if you want to call them that, to set up that quadratic and then solve it to solve a story problem. So let's take a look. Just got one example here, and we'll work through this. So it says for the period beginning in 2014, the number of book titles published by a small publishing company can be modeled by this function. And that's what, a lot of what we're doing here, when you'll get into this, when you take algebra 2, your junior year, is taking data and trying to model it with an equation. All right, so then we can predict off of that. So they have taken how many books can this publishing company make? And they say, hey, your data can kind of be modeled by this equation. Y equals 5/10 x squared plus 4x plus 19, where x is the number of years since 2014. In what year can the company expect to publish 80 books? All right. Okay, so we've got this equation here, this function. All right, 5/10 x squared plus 4x plus 19, and x is the number of years since 2014. Hold on to that information. That's going to be key here in a minute. And we want to know, hey, when is y going to equal 80? All right, when are they going to publish 80 books? Now, so as we look at this, we've got an equation to solve now. All right, and so we could, if you want to try to factor this, we could, maybe we graph it, but we're going to try to solve this with the quadratic formula. And remember, the first step in the quadratic formula is getting this thing equal to 0. So the first thing I want to do is subtract 80. So that gives me 0 and 5/10 x squared plus 4x, and then 19 times 80. 20 times 80 would be negative 60. So I think this would be negative 59. Nope, that's crazy talk. Negative 61, I believe. Mental math is outstanding, guys. Negative 61. I should have stuck with my gut instead of question. Always stick with your gut instead of questioning it. All right. So here we go. We've got our A is 5/10, B is 4, and C is negative 61. All right. And I'm just going to jot it down up here. Of course, you've got the quadratic formula memorized, right? It's the opposite of B plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac entirely divided by 2a. All right. So I'm just, again, going to take this. I've got my values for a, b, and c. I'm going to take those, put them in there. And after that, it's just order of operations. So opposite of b here is 4. So the opposite of 4 would be negative 4, plus or minus b squared. So 4 squared minus 4 times a times c, entirely divided by 2 times a. All right, so there's the expression that I want to simplify just using order of operations. All right, so I got a couple grouping symbols here. I've got the grouping symbol up top, and then I'm going to do that on the bottom just like we did before. So the grouping symbol here, and exponents come first. So that's negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 16, because that's 4 squared, minus 4 times 5/10 times negative 61, entirely over 2 times 5/10. No, that's just 1. That makes things nice because we're just going to be dividing by 1. So really, I don't even need that bottom thing anymore. My answer is going to be whatever I get here. All right. So now next I do my multiplication. Multiplication under that grouping symbol comes before subtraction. So it's negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 16 minus 4 times 5/10. Well, that's half. So 4 times half is 2. And 2 times negative 61 is negative 122. I'm trusting my gut with that one. I'm not even going to, you see me, I'm not touching a calculator. All right. It's negative 122. And again, if you want to put over 1, you can. I'm not going to. You can't make me. All right, so now I want to subtract these. So -4 plus or minus the square root. 16 minus negative 122 would be 16 plus 122. That's 138. And again, that's divided by 1. Square root of 138, I think we're going to get an irrational answer. So I'm going to get two answers. I'm going to get -4 plus the square root of 138. And I'm going to get -4 minus the square root of 138. All right, so let's see what both these are. Do some approximating here. So if I do -4 plus the square root of 138, I guess I could show you this. Oh, you can see on my calculator I didn't do any of that other stuff. All right, -4 plus the square root of 138. I get about 7 7/10. All right, so that's about 7 7/10. And -4 minus 130 minus the square root of 148. So -4 minus the square root of 138 is about -15 7/10. It's approximately -15 7/10. Now, these are two good solutions to this equation, but wait a minute, x has meaning here. X is number of years since 2014. X is a time, and again, even though we didn't do anything wrong, we are, we're looking here at, no such thing as negative time, or negative time doesn't have a meaning for us here. So we're not looking at that. So X is about 7 7/10. So that means it's been 7 7/10 years since 2014. All right. So in what year? It'll be sometime during 2021. All right, 2021, or you might say 2022. But I think it's probably best to say, well, about 3/4 of the year through. Yeah, matter of fact, I'm going with this answer. All right, sometime during 2021 is when this publishing company will publish 80 books. All right. So again, they gave us the quadratic. They might not always give you that. Now you might have to figure it out if it's area, or especially if it's that vertical motion model. All right. But getting it set up, get it equal to 0, grab your A, grab your B, grab your C, and put that in the quadratic formula, and then simplify from there, and then interpret your answer. All right. So you see the homework you had from part 1, and now all I want you to do is just add 46 and 48 onto that. All right, and you'll see Flipgrid. On Flipgrid, there will be just one spot for this. So just do this all together, submit this all together as one assignment. All right. So let me know if you have any questions. I'll get those answers posted out there. Let me know if you have any questions. All right. I will talk to you guys later. Take care.